Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. So today we're trying out for the first time this multi-stream. So I'm still trying to figure out if things are working. I think the YouTubes are online. Twitter looks to be online as well. Kick is online. Twitch is online. And only Instagram I seem to have a problem with. So rather than trying to solve it, I'm just gonna continue for today and try to figure out what's going on. So welcome everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. And let me know if you're watching on, this is so on YouTube, there should actually be two different ones. There should be a shorts one and then also a long one. So I don't know which one you guys are gonna be watching, and it doesn't really show me from my end. I can see the chats. And I hope the chats are working, but it doesn't look like it's working right now. Twitch looks to be on. I don't know what happened here with this. So, okay, anyways, we got lots of great videos to show you today. So I thought let's start with this one because I recently saw this last night, actually. I'll share it with you. So this girl, she is a Chinese Douyin influencer. She only has about 1.7 or 17,000 followers on Douyin, which isn't a lot by the standards. But here's what she says. Let's just watch this video, okay?
大家好，今天是我追川普儿子第一天，看到这个学校了吗？他又在这里上课。
追他也不是随便追的，我早就在他身边安布好了眼线，有丰富的情报网随时向我汇报他到底在哪个教室上课。
我可不是随便来的，我是有准备的。我熟读《流星花园》，一起来看《流星雨》Gossip Girls。番茄小说阅读时长1000小时，就是高杠文北美版嘛。拿下。
他每次在教室里上课都会坐在最后一排，左右有2个保镖保护他。
然后我的初步打算就是我要假装走错教室，特地从他身边的最后一排经过，然后拿起我的这杯星巴克洒在他的鞋上，他就会让我给他擦鞋，然后对我宣战。 没有用蜜雪，是因为蜜雪这边没起。这个时候，他的保镖会拦下我，而他会说出那句经典的话。
咱也不是什么不懂事的人，山东人礼数到位。
过去得提2袋牛奶看他。
咱得再到熟食区给他买点猪耳朵补补身子，缺啥补啥。
不知道大家同不同意我的建议，或者你们有什么更好的计划？我也不白听。事成之后，我会把纽约大学改名为济南大学。
Okay, so basically she did a video where she plans on making Barron Trump, the young son of Donald Trump, fall in love with her. And the way she's going to do it is apparently she's going to follow the plot line of Chinese drama. If you guys ever seen it, it's called Meteor Garden. Basically, this girl, she made this huge mistake in front of the rich guy. And then the rich guy eventually, in the end, falls in love with her, although they hated each other in the beginning. So I don't know. Do you guys think this is some delusional planning in the process? Do you think she's even serious? Because some of the comments that I saw, it's ranging from anywhere like she is making a joke, to she's a spy, to she's just delusional. So I don't know. Let me read some of the comments here. So Wall Enthusiast asks, can she even get to him though? I don't think so. Like she said in the video, she's got, Barron Trump's got 2 security guards next to him, pretty much at all times. If she, Woods 230 says, if she don't do this to you, she's not worth it. I got on the YouTube short side, I got Alexander saying crazy woman. Well, you know, anything for love. And so on Douyin, there's also another lady. She claims to be the mother-in-law of Barron Trump already because her daughter goes to NYU at the Stern Business School as well. And they apparently sat together at the same table. So I don't know what it is. I think there's a certain level of delusion here. Delulu much. But I'm sure there's also a sense of joking because obviously there's no way that they could get to Barron Trump, at least in my view. All right, so there's that. Another topic that I want to talk about today, which I think it's basically the focus of this show, is what happened with Huawei. So as you guys might know, now I have to adjust the screen on this a little bit. Let's see if I can make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so Huawei released recently their triple fold phone. It's so expensive, you can buy 4 PS5 Pros for that same price. It's $2,800 of a phone. And so the question, number one question is, well, was it really worth the price tag? Well, clearly you do get essentially what is 3 iPhones, right? You put them side by side, you get triple the amount of space for your screen, but at triple the or double the price, I should say. They released it on the same day as the iPhone 16. And the idea here is that for $2,800, you can buy luxury from Huawei, right? You're essentially looking at buying a luxury item. Or in the case of when you compare it to the iPhone, you could buy an iPhone 16 Pro Max. I think it's at like $1,300. You can buy an iPad for the same price, or you can buy a MacBook Pro, which I think they start around $1,300 or $1,400. So for that level of screen, the triple fold, you could get a MacBook and a phone. Okay, so I don't really know who would buy this stuff except for maybe like the ultra rich. Also, the $3,000 Huawei phone, again, I'll have to switch up the vertical side. If you break the screen by accident, it might cost you another $1,000 US just to fix it if you're not careful with that phone. Rogert says, who needs a triple fold phone? Yeah, the double fold was already pretty bad. Triple the fold, triple the trouble. Exactly. Let me go to here. And my thing is, like, honestly, if you're talking strictly about practicality, I don't think you need a triple fold. At that point, you can just buy an iPad, right? Or any sorts of combination of tablet / computers, if that's what you're really looking for. If it's the screen size you're looking for, it's probably better for you to get an iPad, which obviously you'll get a stronger display because it's not as crispy and fragile as the Huawei one, because I'll show you here. This is what happens when the device is, if I can find it, that is, this one here. Okay, so this was a picture posted by a user in China, and this is the double fold from Huawei. Man, the vertical picture really, it's horrible. I have to keep adjusting it every single time. So this is the double fold from Huawei, and according to the girl here, I'll scroll down. It's in Chinese, but I'll kind of read it to you. She basically says that after not using the main screen much, which is this middle one here, okay, so here's in Chinese, on the other one's a little bit down. She says, Huawei is really garbage. The phone hasn't been used for the middle screen much, but it seems like, according to the fixer, internally combusted or blew up internally. That's what causes the screen to die off like this. Now imagine, a double fold is already this fragile or bad, because you know the technology is not there yet. Especially, like, I'll give Huawei the credit for innovation, but the technology is simply not there yet. If Samsungs are already still, you know, they're problematic with the fold, I don't think Huawei is there yet to compete with Samsung for that. For anyhow, you know, the reason is they made it because they're trying to say that, look, China doesn't have a downgrade in terms of spending, because look at us, we can still buy a triple fold. The ridiculousness around this triple fold, here, I'll show you this. So they went into, let me mute this. So they went into the store, and this is what they captured. People putting the phone in display cases as if there's some sort of a royal tribute. Dong Cheng D says, you mean Huawei Mate XT actually has a 5-year-old chip, which means constant overheating? Exactly, because Huawei can't get cutting-edge chips. What a waste of poor OLEDs, David. Exactly. Why two identical streams? Because one is supposed to be for the shorts stream, the other one is for regular YouTube watching. So if you guys are seeing two streams, by the way, it's because one of them is for shorts, the other one is for the regular YouTube stream. Innovation from Zach Arnish says, there's nothing innovative about folding screen. Yeah, some people even accuse them of stealing from Samsung. So in this video, you essentially see like everybody's like worshiping this triple fold, right? It looks nice right now, but how long is that gonna last? All right, another one here. Let me go to this. So this video also from the same store. They're now parading up the stairs. The audio is kind of choppy. Let me turn it off. Okay, so it's like, you know, it feels like you're back in the dynasty eras in China where you're like on your way to Beijing to give your tribute to the emperor of China. And then everybody has one in their glass box. Okay, so internet users started making fun of this whole fiasco. Look, they're saying like, basically you're buying this phone for wanting to look like a Chinese emperor. That's the ultimate goal here. So you got the Huawei phone, and then you want to look like the Chinese emperor, you do this. Okay, now it looks like your Chinese emperor reading those, I guess back in the days, there are documents written on these folded papers that the emperors would read and decide on policy. So that's what it feels like to have a Huawei triple fold. Marichi says phone for millionaires only. Exactly. Oh man. Just Boris asks, how do you project your voices so well? What do you mean by projecting? You just use your diaphragm. Go like, woo! But I'm also using a mic here, right? So that's why you can hear the sound really well. You look younger live from VT. Are you using a Chinese photo filter? No, I actually, it's good lighting in the studio that I'm in right now. Weedus Dita says, hey David, just subscribed. Have a lovely day. Thank you so much. From Tira says, Samsung still didn't figure out how to keep dust and debris out of their phone, but it's funny to see Huawei doing a triple fold. Yeah, like I'll give the credit for the innovation, right? The innovation is there, but it's just whether or not we really have the longevity. So, which is interesting, but if you want to live like a Chinese emperor, here's your opportunity. Then you have funny photos like this. You got the guys who can hide their entire face just with the triple fold. You're buying a whole screen cover for your face, basically, in real life. This is like the best thing for introverts. It's hilarious. I love it. Platty says, does the phone come with a hat? I don't think it comes with a hat. Belarab says, it's foldable in all the wrong ways, not practical, pretentious looking gizmo with absurd pricing. The silver lining is that it's a nice conversation starter. It is. It's pretty cool. Like, obviously Huawei's trying to get back into the mainstream points, right? People had forgotten about Huawei after they were sanctioned in the US. They essentially got kicked out, and now they're back. So AJ Mondes asked, David, did Huawei already reveal the chipset using that triple fold phone? I believe it is the same chipset they use for their Mate 60 Pro, which is the Kirin 720 or the 7200. I can't remember the exact one, but I believe it's the same chip. Carnival Joe asks, hey, sorry, can I ask generally what your channel is about? I cover China news. All right, so funny pictures. Let's go to more funny pictures here. We have, yeah, this was the one that were making fun of the iPhone, right? Saying how if the iPhone did the triple fold, it would be this. You got the screwed in clips for your door hinge, and then you got that going. So that's your iPhone triple fold. Clearly it's not. This is another take of that same picture here. You got the emperor looking at the reports from the officials, but it's Huawei. This is, how many folds is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 fold. I'm waiting for Huawei's quad fold. Okay, so triple fold, whatever. People are doing it. You know, Samsung wants to do it. But show me the quad fold. I'll be impressed if Huawei comes out with the quad fold next year. That's what I'm looking forward to. And then you got the, okay. This is the funniest video ever. I'll show this to you. I have the translation in the subtitle, so I will play this for you, and it's hilarious.
我这2天在研究这 iPhone 和 Mate XT， 我确实觉得华为的硬件创新确实遥遥领先，远远超越苹果了。你比如说，有时候在这些公众场合，我很尴尬，我想打电话掩饰自己，我拿个 iPhone， 根本遮不住自己的脸。可是有了华为的 Mate XT 就会不一样了。你看，我这样遮着脸，根本看不见我是谁。
Juice White Man, thanks for the $5. It's a shame Taiwan doesn't have the space to compete with Chinese manufacturers like ENW and Germany did during the Cold War, made in West China. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
就成功的养活了自己。你能看见我是谁吗？
喂，是小丽吗？
所以这是我最近总结的一个优点。第二个呢，工作忙的时候吃泡面，手机很重要的一个功能就是要压住泡面盖。我就不倒开水了，我演示。如果同时吃2包泡面，一个手机是很难压住这个2个泡面盖的，只能一碗一碗的泡。可是有了华为 Mate XT 就会不一样啊！你看，同时能够盖住2碗泡面，我吃泡面的效率提高了1倍，这样压得更坚实一点。所以坚决不买 iPhone 16了。刚才有人说很少同时吃2碗泡面，1碗泡面我觉得华为也是有优势的。你比如说倒了水之后，这个边儿可能会翘起来，拿这个手机去压呢，总是压不全，要么压到这边，要么压到这边，中间2边会翘。但是呢，华为就不一样了，我演示一下。可以完美的把泡面全部都压住，保证一点热气都不外泄，保证泡面的这个温度足够高，然后让调味包的滋味渗透到每一根泡面里面。所以用了华为 Mate XT， 泡面的味道更透彻，煮得更熟，味道更好。我发现 Mate XT 的新的优点在随时向大家汇报。
So one of the best physical functions of the Huawei XT Fold is that you can use it to cover 2 ramen noodle cups. Or you can do a complete coverage of 1, right? The screen real estate is put on full closure in terms of usage by the experienced user who loves to have his ramen noodles during the day. This is hilarious to me because, you know, the thing about everybody making fun of the Huawei device, right? It's like the intention, because Huawei is very popular in China, there's no doubt about it. But the intention here is that they're trying to project this idea that Huawei is so practical. It stems from user experience, right? It stems from the idea that it's supposed to be a competitor of iPhone in the operating system, physical hardware, as well as user experience, which are very important for a device. But then you get this type of video, which basically makes fun of the entire idea of the triple fold. Hilarious. Sorry if I'm reading some of the comments here. Dracula 1974 says, is this live? Yeah, it's live. VT asked, the old noodle test, does your phone pass? From Nigelan says, Shang-Chi and the 9-folded phone, Marvel reboot coming soon. Hilarious. Question from MST, how long will it take for China to make 4 folding screens? I don't know. It could be next year. Who knows? Huawei's got a huge deep pocket in terms of getting money from the government to support their innovation. Netflix Foreign asks, David, why did China end one of the few products that is actually made, one of the best products made there, Oppo Blu-ray players? Instead, they'd hold up Huawei. So there's politics at play here too. Huawei was seen as the state champion, right? The champion of the Chinese government for when it comes to dominating the world of devices. Unfortunately, they met the US government in a sense that they lost that competition because, you know, the US government sanctioned them. But had they not been sanctioned, I think they would have grown much larger, just like how you see with, you know, the EV cars, right? BYD, they're getting the same level of support from the Chinese government. And so if you're not really trying to, you know, halt their advancement, they could flood the market. Because Huawei devices were selling like hotcakes because people, you know, a lot of people don't care. They see the lower price point, they think that we'll buy it. And today Huawei still remains in China as one where they basically cater as the domestic version of iPhone, right? Because people in the United States don't really use Huawei anymore. They use iPhone. In China, they're trying to make it seem like people don't want the iPhone. They want Huawei instead. So it's about politics in a sense. Jake YT says, even better, you can use the phone as blinds or curtains. That's so true. You got more of the meme photos here. So you got here you got the Chinese officials, right? Chinese officials, you got them with their peasantry, with their iPhones. Because the whole meme, I think starting from iPhone 5, was that the iPhone is going to get longer and longer. And it just keep vertically longer, like a bottle, like this, right? It just keeps getting longer. And then other devices keep growing in the horizontal ways. So you got the quad fold now. So basically you have something like this. You know, the emperor is the one who gets to hold the triple fold right now. So funny. These are all really funny memes from the Chinese internet users. It's hilarious. Oh, man. Tom Bullitt says, I own a Xiaomi phone. Isn't the CCP listening one? So there have been some information from China that suggests that during one of the protests, this man had a banner on the bridge that some of the phones, I don't know if it's Huawei or Xiaomi, they actually erased their phones, because they took photos of the protest on that bridge. So I don't know if this is like a special feature that it's built into the devices, but I'm sure, given the fact that China spies on data through things like TikTok, Huawei also has been found, because they're 5G towers, right? They were building them next to like US military bases and stuff. Like the accusation for spying, I would say right now is 99% true. Michael Vincent 16 says, how much is that phone? Like $3,000? The phone is $2,800. So it is a very hefty price point. See here, it's $3,000 for the Huawei Mate XT. Almost, not quite, $2,800. Foam myth Wukong, folding myth. From Hot Crispy Snack says, bro can't hide his face from CCTV with that phone. Yeah, this would be perfect for the anti-facial recognition system in China. You go up, right? You're talking, you got your fold right now, you cover your face. They have no idea who you are, right? All they scan is the glorious triple fold. Nobody knows who you are anymore. Pretty funny. Okay, so this is so this is supposed to be the Chinese pride, right? But they also had some interesting things going on, which is this. So as you guys know, Huawei is like the state champion, as I mentioned. It must mean that everybody's loving Huawei, right? This is the photo that was released from the official, I guess you would call it the seller's account on Chinese social media, saying, look at all these people lining up for the Huawei device. It's released in China, so they're all lining up, right? Well, it turns out this is the actual picture. This is actually a line for the, where's my mouse? This is the line for a Korean store called Line Friends, which is, I believe, sells toys and stuff. It's a Korean brand, not for Huawei. So this is the actual photo. They just used a different angle. And then there's one more photo here, which shows you how empty the storefront. So this is the Huawei storefront, and this is the other store, the Line store, right? Look at this. It's so empty. Nobody is buying this triple fold. Or at least maybe in this store. I don't know, across China, I'm sure there's a bunch of people. In some of my comments yesterday, viewers were saying that even the 5 million pre-orders, it didn't really mean real number of users pre-ordering. It just meant that you can sign up with any name. You can register for the pre-order, but it doesn't mean you have to pay for it. So it's a fake pre-order in that sense. But this tells you exactly what it is. Nobody in China is going to buy a $2,800 phone knowing that the quality, the builds, and everything, right? Let's not even talk about the software yet. The software is really not good in comparison to Android or the iOS. And so all this popularity it's a propaganda point for them to say that China and Huawei are hand in hand in getting their, dominance across the country. In reality, I'm sure the 16 for the iPhone is going to sell much better. So I have no doubt about that, really. Yvonne Zed says, my favorite pictures. Claw asks, why anyone buy a government spyware infested phone shows the power of marketing. No, exactly, that is what it is. It's just power of marketing. Constance says, ha 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 ha, damn, is really all fake in China, huh? China really does fake everything. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say that they do fake everything. Because the purpose, right? So people watch my videos, they're like, there's no way China fakes everything. They actually do fake everything. Here's the reason why. When you fake something, it lets you get away with having to answer the question of morality, having to answer the question of authenticity, having to answer the question of your products and the production line. You essentially skip a bunch of questions because you know those things are also not genuine either. And why bother with having to create genuine stuff when you can get away with cut corners and creating shortcuts that make you temporary gains, right? Especially when it comes to money. So the reason for China to do this is because there is no moral restrictions on these things. At least in the United States, for better or worse, right? People are like, capitalism is bad. But at least there's a sense of credibility and a sense of having that, maintaining that credibility, right? If you are a manufacturer of televisions, your brand credibility, your brand name is built on the idea that it's gonna work. But in China, it doesn't really matter because, you know, you make your few thousand or maybe $1 million and then you go away and you start a new company. Who's gonna care about that, right? So it's a whole different mindset. It's one where I think it has been screwing people over, but it's just people aren't realizing it in the sense that, you know, there's so many people in China. Not everybody has been impacted by that same scam or by that fake item yet. And it doesn't, once people don't feel that personal experience, they don't really care as much, right? This applies to, you know, every channel. Okay, for our next half an hour, what I've got is, I guess you would call a question related to tofu drag. But before we get there, I just want to share a little bit, if you guys are new to the stream or you haven't seen this yet, on our website, davidzhang.net, excuse me, my throat, we've got some great merch for you guys if you haven't checked it out yet. Let me open it. So we got some merch on davidzhang.net. If you haven't already, consider checking it out. So one of it's actually the best seller right now is this tofu drag specialist hat. Props for the design team for doing this one. It's actually really well done. And this color goes really well too. I have one myself. It comes in all sorts of different colors. So you got the classic, so this is like a beige color. You got the black one, which looks super nice. You have the red one. It's kind of like, it's not really like a really bright red. I don't know what red this is. This is a gray one, and you got some other ones too. So you got this color, which is light blue. I think that's what it's called. Let me just adjust the screen here a little bit. You got the light blue. You got the regular navy, which looks pretty nice too. You got the pink, dark green, and you also have this light stone color. That's what it's called. So you got khaki and you got stone. So check out the merch, davidzhang.net. I'll leave it in the chat so you guys can check it out. I will leave this in the chat. davidzhang.net. You guys can check it out. All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming, and let's talk about tofu drag. Now, in China, people have been saying tofu drag is bad for 20 years. And people in my comments are saying, oh, David, you're just taking old clips and you're just using them to justify something that is already, you know, non-existent for the past decade or so, right? These propaganda shows, they're trying to claim that tofu drag no longer exists in China. Well, it still exists in China. It's actually happening everywhere. It's just whether or not we can find the videos for them. Take a look at this one. So this is a building, it's smoking. Why is it smoking? Well, it's because a firework shot into the side of the building and it made a hole in it. Look at that. How can a firework create a large hole in a concrete building or whatever that material is? It has to be bricks or concrete, right? Look at that. It just made a big hole in it. That's crazy. That's tofu drag. by the way. From Big Bivaka Heavy, I can't see your full name, for the $5. Thanks so much for, and says, good job. Thank you very much for the donation. Yeah, so Constance says that's supposed to be concrete. Yeah, it's supposed to be concrete apparently. I didn't know that that was supposed to be a concrete. The Neo-Simratic Gamer says, David, I didn't know you streamed. You have to let your viewers know on YouTube Shorts. Yeah, so this is actually the first week that we're doing short stream. So you guys are very much supporting this right now. I see we just hit like 1,300 concurrent viewers at one point. Right now it's down to 1,000. Yeah, thanks so much for watching this. We do a live stream every Saturday at 12 to 1. And from today on, we might increase the number of streams if you guys are interested. I'll do the short stream more regularly because those are easy to set up. But yeah, right now we do one stream on Saturday. We do them across the board. We do them on Twitch, on Kick. I just signed up for these accounts. I have no idea actually. Came from, yeah, I even got people on Twitch saying that on YouTube it's fuzzy and stuff. So that's interesting to hear. We also have, okay, so let's move on to more of these tofu drag videos. So that's a recent one. Look at this knife. That is a household brand in China. The knife was, they were cutting winter melon and it broke, snapped like that at the handle. That's the quality of Chinese steel. That's a tofu drag. Honestly, if you don't know what tofu drag means, like it basically means it's an umbrella term now. That means subpar construction or subpar material. And you essentially have to deal with these things on a regular basis in China. Like a Chinese cleaver just snaps like that. What the heck? And you're cutting vegetables too. You're not cutting bones. It's pretty crazy. Look at this one. This is one of my favorite videos. So the workers are having lunch and then suddenly they end up in the pit. Right? Imagine you're having lunch one day and you're tired from working all morning and then you go inside the lunch hall or the cafeteria and you end up underground or whatever that part of it might be another floor, who knows. But yeah, like look at these guys. They're just like, what happened to me? I just suddenly fell in. It's pretty funny. Shinobi Hidden says, what is this type of stream, roasting? Yeah, you know what? Every stream's different. This time we decided to roast a bunch of tofu drag videos. Jason Durd asks, have you been threatened or bullied to stop? I haven't been threatened or bullied to stop, but I've had a fair share of people who love to challenge my videos, which is very nice if you consider the fact that they're willing to do that. VT says, in their defense, the winter melon was made of concrete. Exactly. That's why, because it's fake, right? So you never know what you're getting. CB Radio Fox says, not gonna lie, I love watching your content and learning about this. Yeah, thanks for watching. Your support really matters a lot to me. So I thought, I was like, well, they got people going inside the flooring. They must also have, where is it this one? No. Where is it? Oh yeah, this. You have, imagine you're having lunch and the next second you go through the roof. You fell into the salon on the first floor. That's what happens in China. Oh man. So this took place on, where is it? December 5th, 2023. Or 2022, is it 2020? No, it's 2023. Yeah, so this happened last year. It's not 2024, but it's still really recent, right? So the idea of tofu drag still exists in China. Like imagine that, you're just like doing your own business upstairs, and then suddenly you fall through the roof, or the ceiling, sorry, the ceiling. Like the shock, you know? That's hilarious. Aether says, finally going after through watching so many of your videos and shorts. I'm glad I stumbled into your stream by pure coincidence, bro. Love your content. Thank you so much, Aether. Yeah, I'll be doing a regular stream every Saturday with the shorts as well as with our regular, you know, horizontal streams. So you guys can catch both of these. I'm just replying to some. What is this? See third-party events. See all your events in one place by adding select crowd controls. I don't know what that is. Tofu Direct. I'm just answering some comments on Twitch. Tofu Direct still exists in all over China. All right. Where was I? Oh yeah, okay, so so we got the ceiling drop, and then when you try to protest about tofu drag in China, here's what happens. So this recently happened. This is September 7th. I'll show you the text first so that you guys know what we're talking about. Let me put on Google Translate so it will translate the thing for us. There we go. And I want to see if the shorts one has the translation. Okay, so this is September 7th, 2024. Says Zhengzhou, Henan, the third phase of Sunak Airport, Chengyuan, it's a tofu drag building, was a shoddy project with serious reductions in specifications. The owners were defending their rights, and during the process, many owners were forcibly pushed into buses and taken away by the police. So these guys, they had a tofu drag construction project that, went south because obviously you don't want to work with one of those tofu drag buildings. They started to protest because, technically protesting is illegal in China. It's just you get to protest once and then you disappear. But then they go protest and then the police come and they arrest them. Okay, that's what happens when you try to solve the problem of tofu drag. Your result is they think you're trying to start provoking trouble and start a war in China. And so it's like, okay, so the reason why tofu drag still happens all over China, and it's been happening for more than 2 decades, it's because the government doesn't actually want to solve this problem because they're corroborating with those developers who are cutting corners, right? So it's a whole chain of issues that creates tofu drag in China. That's why people are like, oh, David, tofu drag's no longer a question in China. It's been solved decades ago. Actually, no, it's still happening very, very, very much and very frequently. Another example, this is from the recent Hainan super typhoon season. So very dumb, I don't know why. China's super into building infrastructure, right? But why would you build wind turbines in a typhoon area? It's an island province south of China, and it's going to get a lot of hurricanes, typhoons, or whatever, earthquakes, etc. And then they're putting these giant wind turbines there because now they can say that China has infrastructure. The CCP loves to do this. They're touting, China has the best infrastructure. And then one typhoon later, everything collapses, right? Practicality. What is that? I don't know. I've never heard of it. Not in China, apparently. So the only thing that they've done over the years that's still kind of working is the high-speed bullet trains. But even that, the technology was stolen from Germany and Japan. And they're really running with it because that's, transportation, right? It's crazy. This recently happened too. So that's another tofu drag project. You have this. This was from, this is also September. Actually, I'll do it like this. Okay, so I will turn off the audio and then I'll explain. So this is a building that was completed in 2013. And this is the 18th floor of this building. So I believe this is like a parking lot area or something. But the walls started cracking. A building that was done 11 years ago is already showing signs of cracking. That is unbelievable. That's absurd, right? What the heck are we looking at? Juan Jamez says, your Discord link doesn't work. Yeah, we turned off the Discord, actually. Yvonne Zed says, I saw some wild footage of the chaos caused during the typhoons. Some are funny, but mostly just horrifying. No, absolutely, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. Jake asks, will you do documentaries on China Insider? I did a mini one about Japan. I might do one later. $20 from the Neo Syria G something. I can't read your full thing. But thank you for the $20. Question, why isn't there a culture of constructing things reliably in China, similar to Japanese and German auto and electronic culture? If the CCP cared about showing China as world power, wouldn't they care about these things? Great question from the Neo Serac Gamer, I believe. The question I already kind of answered, but basically, in China under the CCP, over the years, because there's so much fear-driven people to kind of fight for themselves, because there's been starvation, famine, there's been lack of how would you even describe it? There's a lot of political fear that people just kind of want to be by themselves, right? Everybody for themselves. There's a famous saying among Chinese people, which is, if not for thyself, then even heaven will punish you. Meaning that if I'm not doing everything for myself, then even the heaven will be punishing me. That's their thinking, right? So in this idea, they can kind of skirt around moral restrictions. They can really do a lot of things for the sake of just making money. And so even if that means cutting corners on buildings, even if that means like they can speed up construction for 3 months ahead of completion schedule, just so they can say that we did it, and maybe the government could go around and say, oh wow, look at this, we did this completion, half of the time we spend on it. It doesn't really matter to them that the building's not going to last 20 years or 100 years. All it matters is that it looks like it's done, right? And then they can cut corners because you're almost like you're putting on a stage show. Whatever happens backstage, it doesn't really matter. What happens at the floor stage, at the front of the house, is what matters the most for them. I hope that answers it. Okay, I also have this one. Okay, this is actually pretty crazy. Again, this is from this year. This is from May 16th. So this residential complex belongs to Evergrande. For those of you who don't know, Evergrande recently went bankrupt, right? They're one of the largest developers in China, and they basically hold a lot of these buildings. A lot of them are tofu track building. So look at this. The residents here can easily lift up the tiles on the side of the road. Okay, so in what world can you just lift up tiles with your fingertips? That's crazy, isn't it? And then there's more. So, sorry, it's a small video, but I'll explain what it is. This is the drain. So in the same complex, right? This is the drain. Here, let me try to zoom it in more so you guys can see this. But I gotta zoom it in more somehow. Anyways, sorry, so this, I don't know if you can see it clearly, but this drain here is half shut with whatever that is. It looks like to be some rebars and concrete. Imagine if the building area, like the city or region is raining. How is that supposed to drain the water? And what if you get things that clog there, like leaves or garbage or dirt or anything like that? That's not going to drain. So what was the point of building this drainage system in the community anyways? And then in that same video, so again, these guys are just going around. They can just dig up the tiles, right? They got the sand underneath. Doesn't even look that stable. And then they come across this part, which is like a wooden cover, like a plank board. And then when they lift it up, look what happens. It's a freaking shaft. It just got left there. I don't know what they did with this or where this goes. Is it supposed to be part of the sewage system? Is it supposed to run water, electricity? Who knows? But they just left it there, covered it with a wooden board, put sand over it, and then left it on top of the tiles, which again is just unstable. What the heck are we looking at here? This is crazy. That's tofu drag again. So I'm giving you all these examples because it's absolutely bizarre for people to try to claim otherwise, because you're not just worrying about the safety of the people. Obviously, that's the most important thing. But you're also just, how can you say to yourself, wake up every day as a developer and say, yeah, I'm absolutely doing my best to guarantee the people living here is having a best day of their life. No, they're every day we come out, we're going to make money. We got to screw these people over. From RM-RF says, $20, thank you so much. Appreciate all you do, but please be careful. Thanks again. Yeah, I will be careful. Thank you so much. From Charles Womack, thanks for the $8.88. David, what age were you when you immigrated to the States? Love your show and humorous anecdotes. Well, I was about 11 when I left China. So I still have fresh memories of the country, and I can speak the language fluently. but also I got to experience the West at a very young age. So, question. From Brand131 says, can consumers sue these companies for their shoddy work? You can try to sue. There's nobody that can stop you from suing, but whether or not they will let you win in court, that's a whole different question. On Twitch from Doom Nation Ready says, didn't know you were on Twitch, so following on here as well. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, we just started this whole multi-stream, so everything is like all over the place, right? We got the Kick stream, we got the Twitch stream, we got the stream on X. We're supposed to get an Instagram stream as well. We're on Shorts, and we're also on the regular YouTube stream. And it's getting really hot in here. I don't know if the AC is on. Gosh, I'm sweating. From Schmokey joined on Twitch says, do they workers who put up these not know that they're doing a bad job, or are they just following instruction blindly? A lot of times, because they want to just make the money, they're just simply following instructions, and they don't really care enough either, because they're not paid enough to care, you know? So it's really sad, actually. Okay, back to our programming. This is pretty crazy. We have, let me go back a little bit. Okay, so this is a power line that just randomly collapsed. Like, things like this just happen regularly in China. Sure, you could blame it on that they need to improve the infrastructure, but you know what else is probably the case? That these power lines, the stone cover, the columns, or I guess you call them the power beams, they were just not built with quality in mind. That's simply the case in China. Here's another protest from June 23rd of this year. This is a protest from Fujian province. And this is, again, another tofu direct building that the developers basically abandoned in the sense that they used subpar material, again, to build it. So people are out here protesting. And again, you know, what can they do? They can protest. They can be all on the streets. Here's some of the pictures that show the interiors of it. Like, it looks horrible. There's leaking. Everything's, you know, there's like water leaking from the ceiling when it rains. So people protest, but what can you really do on top of that? Nothing. That's the reality in China. I don't know what this was, but... Oh yeah, okay, so this is another one from July 26th from another province in China. After a few rainy days, the ceiling started to crack holes and started to leak, right? Started to grow mold. And that's a recently completed building too. Right, look at this. We got holes now. We got, like, I don't even know what this yellowish liquid is. Is that mold? This is mold definitely here. You got the cracks, you got the leaks, just all over the place. You know, these people went out and protested. Again, nothing really happened with them. No real business here. That was the wind turbine. And then this is just a road that just happens to be in China. Take a look at this. Just random sinkholes in the middle of nowhere. Roads are just built like that. Special quality, it seems. From Ogra Chris says, you can explain of car electric made in China. Are you talking about electric cars in China? Well, electric cars in China, they're very flammable. I did a few videos on this. It's actually kind of sad as well, because there's been a few incidents you can find in my videos, in my shorts, that I talked about already. But basically, they have a very big chance of combusting, and the people inside, you know, they're just gone. From Roar 2020 says, should the U.S. secretly fund anti-CCP separatist movements, aka uncontrollable armed protesters in most prominent cities? So here's the problem, right? If the United States, let's say they did a CIA like color revolution type of thing like they did in Cuba or in the Middle East, it's hard to do in China because the ideological control, the state propaganda, and the technological sort of totalitarianism is so complete that it's much harder for them to do that, in my view at least. Okay, this is not this one here. So this, I won't show you the video because I'm afraid the stream will get not copy striked, like, because there's like a violent thing, they might demonetize the stream. But I'll describe what this is. This is an old man. He noticed this like brick hole in the floor here, right, on the ground. And then he like went to go investigate. And then another old guy comes in and stands next to it. And then what happens is this whole area just sinks in. Maybe I'll show you this part. Yeah. So look, this whole area just sinks into the ground. And that man who was standing here, he like fell in. They say he's okay. So I guess, you know, he's fine. He just got injured. But yeah, the random ground just starts to fall like into sinkholes. I made a shorts called China is a Whole Country. You can go and watch it. It just recently released this morning. And I basically just highlight this idea that there's just sinkholes everywhere. And it's so dangerous too. Oh man, it's so crazy. All right, let me go back to our faux scenes here. Let's answer some questions before we end the stream today. Again, thanks so much for watching. Just another reminder, if you want to support the channel, you can check out our merch at davidzhang.net. So I'll put the link in the description one more time, and you guys can check it out. I'll pin this actually. That way people can see it. Pin message, davidzhang.net, pin message. So again, just a reminder, we'll be doing a live stream at least every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch, on Kick, on Twitter, on YouTube Shorts, on YouTube, and also I'll try to get Instagram started as well. I don't know why it's not working this time, so I might have to look into that, but everything else seems to be working fine. Question. Aman Kumar says, David, love from India. Thank you so much, Aman. Losbro says, oh my God, I'm such a big fan from New Zealand. Thank you so much from New Zealand. What time is it in New Zealand? It must be late at night or early in the morning, right? From Frostby, an actual interesting stream for once. Thanks. Thank you so much. And E. Lee asks, why are you China's #1 hater? Well, I'm China's #1 hater because I truly care about the country and I want the people to not suffer anymore under the regime. Awesome Creed 13 says it's the mole people. The mole people living in the whole country. Jake YT says, David, do you think the situation in China will improve? If yes, how so? Great question, Jake. I think the only way for China to fundamentally improve is if the Chinese regime ends its power. The Chinese Communist Party no longer exists and that people can choose whatever way of government that they want. In my opinion, probably a democratic form of government. But we're not sure yet. But the thing is, right, people always claim, or at least the Chinese Communist Party claims, that without the CCP, there wouldn't be a way in which China can function. But that's simply not true, because just look at Taiwan. Sure, they have different parties and they have their arguments. You know, there was even a brawl in Congress in Taiwan. But the problem is, the key here is that they get to choose who they want to elect as president. That choice people in China don't have, which is the fundamental key here. Ogra Chris says, David, can you talk about Chinese electric cars? I have in the past, maybe I'll talk about it later. From A Captive, thanks for the $2. Do you ever cover the DPRK? I briefly covered it, but because it's not technically China, I rarely cover it, but I get where you're coming from. The DPRK is a reflection, in a sense, of where China could go if things really go back to that, you know, the Mao Zedong era. So I think it's very important to watch the direction. And also because, you know, the Chinese Communist Party is actively using North Korea as a proxy in terms of distractions, right? You threaten South Korea, you have the nuclear options, you know, those kind of things. So it's an important country to watch as well. From Ein Leerling, hello from Germany. Your stream is informative. Do you live in China? Did you live in China? I did live in China, yes. Shanghai Peng says, you're acing the CCP bots. Yeah, I'm glad. It's working out. All right, and question from Netflix Foreign. David, are you going to add a Rumble or Odyssey stream too, since you're streaming everywhere else? Yes, actually, you remind me. I'm going to add a Rumble stream as well next stream, so I'll have more of that. But basically, I have to, so the way I'm doing this right now is I'm on OBS and I have to add each stream individually. So every time I've tested the stream, some things worked, some things didn't. Like this time Instagram didn't work, but last time it worked. So I have to kind of figure that out. But I'm sure Rumble and Odyssey are fine. Just another dude, thanks for the $2. Question, why do so many Chinese come here and act entitled? I'm not so sure which country you're from, but in my experience, because a lot of them, they, for one, have a cultural difference they came from a Chinese Communist Party culture where they think things are done a certain way. And then when they go out to a country like the US or Canada or Europe, they get a culture shock in the sense that they're like, oh my God, why are things done differently? And they actually almost feel like they're aliens in another planet, on another planet, I guess you could say, or maybe in another planet, I don't know. But anyways, they feel like aliens. So that's why you see a lot of them feel so strange. They act a certain way. It's so strange to you. But if they can truly integrate into that society, which you know a lot of people don't do, eventually they might feel better and they might seem, you know, more normal to you guys as well. From Undergrad Studio says, why are you not afraid to speak out? Well, like I said, I have a mission, I feel like it's to speak on behalf of the Chinese people who don't have a voice in China. From Branslaner, do you think Western countries are too dependent on China? Yeah, definitely. I think they're trying to cut some of the connections, but at the end of the day, you do need to remember that a lot of reliance is still on China, and it's not something that can just easily be cut off in a year or two. Shutsuji Play says, David, do you think China will start a war? I'm from the Philippines. I'm a big fan. I really hope not. I really think that if China does start a war with the Philippines over the South China Sea, or the South, or you know, the parts in which they claim to have sovereignty over, that the second Thomas Shoal is, I think it's going to look really bad on them. In fact, I think it will backfire on the CCP. So I really don't think they will. But it doesn't mean that it's right for them to be acting aggressively in that area, because that's sovereign Philippines water, right? So like, honestly, if you ask any country except for China, they're going to tell you that it belongs to the Philippines, but apparently not China. So, all right, I'm going to end the stream here. I've got to go and have some food. I'm really hungry. But thank you guys so much for joining the stream today. And I really had a lot of fun talking about these different topics. So next stream, again, tune in on Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be doing a stream. So we'll be on Rumble, Twitch, Kick, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, YouTube. What else did I miss? I think that's it. All right, and Twitter. Oh, yes. All right, have a good day, everybody. Thanks so much for the donations and support. Love you guys. Have a good one. Take care. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.